5 News at Noon starts now.
As Hurricane Erin gains strength, officials are urging residents along the East Coast to prepare and act quickly. And Russia launches a major overnight attack in Ukraine with injuries and deaths reported, even as world leaders are pushing for peace. Well, thank you for joining us for your 5 News at Noon. I'm Morgan Wrigley here with Danny Cassidy.
Hello.
And hello. We are excited for what's to come, temperature-wise, a little bit later. We have to get through a little bit more of the heat, though.
Yeah, it's been well advertised. I'm sure you've heard it on social media. You heard us talk about it forever and ever. It's like, Danny, just get it here. We got 4 more days to go, and then it'll be here. But we'll show you what's going on right now. As Morgan mentioned, it's still a little bit warm out there. I was outside for a bit. We were shooting around the corner shot, and, well, this is a bad reference because I sweat all the time, but it was still a little bit warm out there. 89 degrees in Fort Smith. Feels like a 92, but again, the dew point, look at this. Dew points are in the upper 60s. So again, yesterday, the dew points at this time were in the low 70s, so we're going to get that gradual improvement as we go throughout the day today. Now, we are seeing some of those clouds start to funnel in, like we usually do during the afternoon, those puffy cumulus clouds, and with it, maybe could see that stray shower pop up. Again, the vast majority of us are going to stay dry, but something to keep an eye on. Otherwise, temperatures will be in the upper 80s and low 90s in northwest Arkansas, cool off to a pretty seasonal night overall, not only in northwest Arkansas, but the River Valley as well, with the River Valley topping off into the low to mid 90s, and again, having that stray shower chance, we'll say, until about midnight, and then I think that'll taper off. So it's like, all right, Danny, give me the good news. What can we expect here? Well, it's less humid, so that's one thing, and it'll continue to gradually get less humid. It is going to stay warm. High temperatures are going to stay about steady, if not maybe a couple degrees warmer by the weekend. But the good news is the 70s, and no, again, not the time period. I know I've used that joke a few times. I got to get new ones coming. But we're all going to see rain chances as well, so we're kind of getting the best of both worlds next week. So we'll talk all about that coming up in your full forecast. Morgan.
Thanks, Danny. Well, boat traffic on the Arkansas River temporarily at a standstill after a gate got stuck at the Dardanelle Lock and Dam. The Army Corps of Engineers says the gate jammed on Tuesday morning, and workers have tried to lower it, but so far it's still stuck all the way open. Engineers think friction, heat expansion, or a mechanical issue could be to blame. The Corps says dam safety experts are on site there and will keep working until it's fixed. Well, the VA Medical Center in Fayetteville is getting some upgrades thanks to new maintenance funding from the Department of Veterans Affairs. Plans include a new security fence around the property and improvements to several parking lots, part of an $800 million funding package for VA facilities across the country. And Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders has appointed 6 people to the State Library Board. Lawmakers passed a bill earlier this year to completely overhaul the board, leading to the firing of the previous members. Sanders appointed Sidney McKenzie of Rogers. Under the law, the governor has 30 days to call a meeting with the new board to set term limits. Well, Walmart is reporting strong numbers this quarter. The retail giant says sales are up more than 5%, with big gains in online shopping and advertising. The company also rolled out more than 7,000 price cuts, including a 30% jump in grocery rollbacks. Walmart says it's playing offense, investing in new ways to deliver value to shoppers. The outer rain bands and stronger winds from Hurricane Erin are battering the Outer Banks. It remains a large Category 2 storm with 105-mile-per-hour winds. Nearly 40 million people are under flood alerts up and down the coast, and North Carolina's governor has declared a state of emergency. Residents are being told to prepare as the storm makes its way north around the East Coast.
We have already pre-positioned 3 swiftwater rescue teams and 200 National Guard troops to various locations on the coast.
Officials say the biggest impacts on the coast will be big waves, coastal flooding, and dangerous rip currents. Ukraine says Russia launched one of its biggest aerial attacks of the year overnight, killing at least 1 person and injuring 15 others. It comes as the U.S. and allies work on a security plan and push for direct talks between Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. Natalie Brand has the latest from the White House.
The Ukrainian Air Force says Russia fired more than 570 drones and dozens of ballistic and cruise missiles in its latest attack. President Volodymyr Zelensky says the barrage targeted civilian infrastructure, residential buildings, and even an American-owned electronics factory. On social media, Zelensky wrote Russians carried out the attack as if nothing has changed and noted there's no signal from Moscow it intends to engage in substantive negotiations to end the war. even as the White House pushes for direct talks between Zelensky and Russian President Vladimir Putin.
The Ukrainians want security guarantees. The Russians want a certain amount of territory. Again, we finally got the details. We're working on them, but we haven't figured everything out.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio is leading talks with European allies on security guarantees for Ukraine, with hopes to have a plan within the next week to 10 days.
This is, again, a horror that I do not wish anyone to experience.
Marina Bayduk of United Help Ukraine recently traveled to her home country. She says the immediate goal should be a ceasefire.
We do want to see those killings stopped, bombing stopped, and the peace progress.
Russia's foreign minister said Thursday that Putin is prepared to meet Zelensky, but not until all issues are worked out first. And he questioned the Ukrainian leader's legitimacy to sign a peace deal. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
The Russian Defense Ministry claimed Thursday its forces captured yet another village in eastern Ukraine. And President Trump is putting more pressure on the Federal Reserve as central bankers from around the world gather in the U.S. The annual Jackson Hole Economic Policy Symposium is happening today in Wyoming. It's a big event that could affect everything from interest rates to your wallet. Analysts say Fed Chair Jerome Powell may hint at a small rate cut given labor market concerns. President Trump says he wants him to be more aggressive.
This guy is a numbskull. He keeps the rates too high.
When you compromise the independence of the central bank, very bad things happen to the economy.
Trump said Powell should resign, and now he's saying the same thing about Fed Governor Lisa Cook. She's a Biden appointee who voted against recent rate cuts. A member of the Trump administration says she might have committed mortgage fraud by naming two primary residences, but Cook says she won't step down and instead will provide information and facts about her financial history. And the Republican-controlled Texas House of Representatives voted to advance a controversial redistricting plan Wednesday that considerably favors the GOP. The new map, published by President Trump, positions the Republicans to pick up 5 more U.S. House seats in the upcoming midterm election. The plan now moves to the Texas Senate, and it's likely to trigger similar revisions in California, where legislators want to create new Democratic-leaning seats. Families who lost their children in the Camp Mystic floods in central Texas last month spoke at an emotional hearing. This was during a conference on flood preparedness and what went wrong. It marked the first time the families appeared publicly before the legislature since the disaster.
The picture you're seeing was my last living memory of my daughter.
The camp of my dreams turned into a living nightmare.
Our daughter was at camp. She was not protected. She was not safe.
Texas lawmakers are now considering a number of reforms, including tougher permit requirements for camps, a better emergency notification and alert system with more training, and emergency drills at camp sites. Nearly 36 years to the day after Lyle and Eric Menendez killed their parents, they're due to appear at parole hearings that could get them out of prison. Eric Menendez will have his today. His brother appears tomorrow. The Los Angeles District Attorney will be there, arguing that they should not be set free. Carter Evans is covering this case.
After 3 decades behind bars and an avalanche of public scrutiny, convicted killers Lyle and Eric Menendez are closer than they've ever been to freedom. Both brothers are set to appear virtually for separate parole hearings this week, where they'll argue they no longer pose a threat to society if released.
We received a call on our 911 emergency line from the residents.
Their murder case dates back to August 1989, when their parents, Jose and Kitty, were found shot to death in their Beverly Hills home. The brothers were arrested the next year, and after a mistrial, they were convicted in 1996. But they were resentenced 3 months ago after a judge cited the brothers' efforts to rehabilitate their lives. The new LA District Attorney opposes releasing them, arguing they've never fully accepted responsibility for the crime.
They'd engaged in a pre-planned alibi. They had bought the shotguns ahead of time, and they methodically got rid of all the evidence after the crime and then blamed other people instead of themselves as the murderers.
During the resentencing, the brothers did admit to lying for years about their guilt. Their extended family is expected to show up, continuing to support Lyle and Eric's release, saying the brothers have shown remorse and a commitment to improving themselves. But even if one or both of them are recommended for parole, the final decision lies with California Governor Gavin Newsom.
The Menendez brothers have to feel a little anxious Governor Newsom has been pretty strict when it comes to people convicted of serious crimes.
Newsom hasn't given any indication yet whether he would sign off on the brothers' release. He previously denied parole for Senator Robert F. Kennedy's convicted killer and a member of the Masson family. And with Newsom's profile on the national stage raised by his clashes with the Trump administration, there are questions now if politics could end up playing a role in the brothers' release. Carter Evans, CBS News, Los Angeles.